What is up, everybody? It is the Shoop and Aye-Ajay show. We're here on a Thursday night. We've had some time to digest the game last Thursday. It's already been a week. I picked the Rams, obviously, but, I was pleasantly surprised with the performance. I think, we'll get into it in a little bit. But yeah, it's been a week now. Huge game tonight. Chargers Chiefs. I'm sure a lot of Bills fans will be watching that. Ben, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I mean, it was nice having Thursday, a nice open in the season, but now we gotta wait longer for that other game, week 2. It's not even Sunday, so it's gonna be a Monday nighter, and I know we'll both be there, so should be a fun one, man. Should be a real good one. But yeah, I was also pleasantly surprised. I mean, I obviously had us winning, but I did not see us winning by that much. But we won by that much, and Allen played great. The defense looked phenomenal. I mean, out of everything that happened that game, what do you think was like your number one takeaway / like favorite part of the whole game?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was just, I said before the game, the key to the game is Josh Allen, like just being Josh Allen. And if he's Josh Allen, we'll win the game. And that's exactly what he did. He was phenomenal all game. His first interception was in a perfect spot. McKenzie just, kind of dropped it, bobbled it into the linebacker's hands. Not really his fault, And then the second one was a force. I think, him and Crowder haven't really had time to develop a, chemistry on the field yet. He's, in his first season here, he's been hurt for most of camp. And, going right to live action, I think it was a forced throw, but I think that's the biggest takeaway I have from the game. I think Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. He stiff armed a guy. He, used his legs when he had to. All the talk that, we don't want Josh Allen to use his legs as much this year. He's gonna continue to use his legs. I don't think that will ever, end as long as he's healthy enough to do it. So yeah, Josh Allen being Josh Allen. What about you?
I honestly, as much as like Allen obviously looked like Allen, and Diggs looked like Diggs. Davis had a touchdown, and it was a really great game overall. I think the number one thing, I mean, the defensive line, man, that was something. I mean, the fact that we didn't even blitz the whole game and we still had 7 sacks is unreal, and it just shows exactly why we paid Von Miller that much money. Because I mean, and I know it wasn't just him, because even Jordan Phillips, again, first came back as a Bill, unreal, amazing. But I mean, Von looked great. Eddie O, I know he got hurt, but I know it was early in the game. But when he was playing, he looked good early on. Even Basham was. I mean, everybody on the defensive line was looking good. But the only thing is, now we're going into this week, and obviously Eddie O doesn't look like he's going to play. Tim Settle didn't practice today. Dane Jackson didn't practice today, Dane Jackson also had a pick last week against the Rams. So 3 key guys that might be banged up, but this past week was something to watch, man. It was amazing. I mean, just I can't remember the last time we had a defensive line that looked that good, probably since Mario Williams. I mean, or at least one player that, like Von, that can make that much of a difference on the defensive line since Mario Williams. And this might be the best defensive line we've had in at least our lifetime, since the 2000s. And if they can keep this going, I mean, and Tennessee has a worse line than the Rams, in my opinion. So I'm looking for them to cause some more pressure and just wreak havoc into Tannehill. And it's going to be interesting, though, to see Derrick Henry, and we'll get into that later on. But when it came to the Rams game, dude, I mean, everything just looked amazing. I know that second quarter was tough, but it was just a great game overall.
Yeah, the best defensive line of my lifetime, and I don't think anything will top it, was the 2014 Kyle Williams, Jerry Hughes, Marcel Darius, Mario Williams. I think almost all of them had 10-plus sacks that season. I'm not positive about that, but I think that defensive line was like, dude, that one, I remember Rodgers came here and, the cold, and Mario Williams strip sacked him when, everyone thought that Rodgers was, going to obviously win the game with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But one more thing I want to talk about with the game is just, the emergence and the continuation of success on the field from Gabe Davis. Dude, this guy, that first play call by Ken Dorsey, and we can also talk about him if you want. When on that 3rd and 1 where he just put, Davis in motion, play action, a lot of defenders, bit on the run, and then Allen, he has the threat of his legs. Ramsey got, in a position where do I, stay on Davis or do I go after Allen? He kind of was in no man's land. Davis kept running, touchdown. Gabe Davis, and then he had that deep ball as well. So Gabe Davis is really, a true wide receiver too. And, Stephon Diggs, man, he's going to have the most catches and yards on this team. He is a baller. He has, him and Allen are just on the same page. They have such good chemistry. And that back shoulder throw to Diggs, the touchdown to Diggs, the curl route where the defender fell and he got a couple extra, 10 yards out of it. It was just a phenomenal game by the wide receiving core.
Yeah. When it comes to Dorsey, I've been saying it all offseason. I actually think our offense could be better with Dorsey than Dable. I love Dable. I will forever think he did great things here, but just from hearing what Dable wanted in this entire offense throughout the offseason, what he's saying, it showed week 1. It's push the ball quick out of his hand. Because that's the crazy part for me was that Allen was getting the ball out faster than he's ever gotten it out, ever. And it showed, and it was like, I will take that any day. I will take 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 10 yards, 8 yards, 13, any day of the week rather than, all right, 14, -2, then like a 3, like that. Because that's the one thing with Dabble's offense that I felt like happened a lot was we would get ourselves in these negative plays or get ourselves in these 3rd and longs that we didn't need to be in. And it showed week 1 that they want to be more aggressive. They want to come out throwing. And that's what you got to do. You have one of the top quarterbacks in the league. You have one of the best receiving corps in the league. You got great tight end. And that's the crazy part is Knox only had 1 catch. We put up 31 and Knox he had 1 catch for 5 yards. Like, he's my fantasy tight end. I was a little pissed about it, but I was also happy because the Bills won. But like that's the craziest part to me is that you don't even it's going to be week in, week out. Davis might have a down week 1 week. Diggs even might. Diggs probably won't ever have a down week like Dawson Knox had this past week, but he might have a week where he only has 33 catches for like 40, 30 yards. That might happen because we just have so many weapons, and it's just ridiculous to see what we're able to do with this offense. Although I do want to ask you one thing. We saw a lot of Zach Moss this past week, and it was actually a decent amount in the passing game. So was it a surprise to you, 1, to see him as much as we did, 2, to see him utilized in the passing game, and 3, did you like seeing him as much? Because I feel like we might have 2 different answers on this, but I want to hear you out on those 3 questions, and then I'll give my side.
Restate the first one.
So did you like seeing Moss out there that much? Did you like seeing him in the passing game that much? And
okay.
Then
I'll just combine them all.
Combine them all. What do you think of Moss?
Yeah, I think those were James Cook's receptions. James Cook receptions that, he had his opportunity. He fumbled the ball. He's not going to see the field ever again with McDermott. I'm glad he got it out of the way. Like Von Miller said after the game, he's like, I went up to him. I talked to him. He was kind of by himself. Dude, Christian McCaffrey fumbled in his first NFL game. LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, there's guys that are superstars that fumbled in the first game, and there's a lot of jitters. But no, seeing Moss out there, dude, he did what he did. He fumbled it once late in the game. I think, he's not that great of a pass catcher. I wouldn't say like when I see him in the backfield get the ball, I'm like, oh my God, like Zach Moss. I don't get I'm not like crazy about it or like get excited really. But like he did his job. He had 6 catches. He took care of the ball for the most of the game, and he runs hard and he's been here. He knows what's expected of him. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, and I'm kind of just indifferent about it. I don't, as long as he doesn't lose games or he's, not reading the defense or reading the holes or doing stuff like that, I mean, I'm sure that Zach Moss will play less and less as the year goes on.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to the James Cook, I mean, that's how McDermott deals with rookies, man. You see it all the time. Is just ease them in. He did fumble, so he said, I think in the press conference, they like to just give him a little break, get his head back on. But even with just rookies in general, even if he didn't fumble, I don't think we would have seen him too much, because that's just what McDermott does. You see it all the time. I mean, even Elam, our first round pick, isn't playing on defensive side. Davis, his rookie year, you didn't see him too much. So I think that's what you're going to get out of McDermott with rookies, on especially like on offense, unless they come in and they're like Trey White, where they're easily day one starters. That you're going to be earn it, take your time, learn the game before we're going to really throw you in there. But it was a shock to me to see Zach Moss that much, and he didn't do bad. He did his job besides the fumble, but he did his job. But I just Singletary played really well. I thought he ran the ball great. I thought every time he got the ball, he did some great things. So just those receptions that Moss had, I would like to see them go to Singletary. Like if Singletary is our number one, make him our number one, because he's been done everything the last 6 weeks of last year and the first week this year. He played great in my opinion. So I think I would like to see, honestly, Singletary more and see Moss a little bit less, just because Singletary, I used to last year, in the middle of last year, I was really kind of on the fence about Singletary. I was like, all right, this might, he might not be the guy. He might not be that number one back, but then, he put in a great second half of the year. And I think he's earned the right to get those touches, get those carries, and, be that number one guy and get those receptions that Moss are getting, because Moss is not, as much as Moss has done, he's not a receiving back, man. He just isn't at all. So it kind of blew my mind. I think every time that he touched the ball out of the backfield, I was screaming at my TV saying, what are we doing here? What are we doing? But I mean, we got the win either way, right? We got the win. The offense looked good. I mean, Allen's second pick was kind of rough, but the first one was not his fault. So the offense did its job. The run game did its job. Passing game did its job. So I'm not going to complain too much.
Yeah, I just have a question about Moss. Listen, now I answered this in my head while you were talking. Did Zach Moss do more? Did Zach Moss hurt the offense more or help the offense more at the end of the day?
I mean,
or did he do his job and like just indifferent like I am? Like as long as he's doing his job, like as long as he's not hurting the team, like whatever role they.
I mean, I'm not like I wouldn't say I'm like mad. Like I'm not like at the time, yes, I was like, why is he getting the ball? Why is he getting the ball? But in reality, he didn't hurt. I don't think he really, in a lot of his carries, I don't think he hurt or really helped us a lot. Like he did what he was supposed to do, got the yards that he should have gotten, but he didn't really make guys like miss too much. And for a guy that's that type of guy that he's gonna run into you and bounce off, it's just I didn't see it as much as I would have liked. And I think Singletary, for me, the way I thought about it is could Singletary have done more anytime? So that's my number one thing is like, could Singletary have done more? Yes, I think he could have done more with a lot of the times that Moss touched it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to, unless again, Moss costs us the game or something, or it's like a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and we give a little dump to Moss and he doesn't get it when I think Singletary could have gotten it. That's the only way I'm going to be mad. So, I mean, it's McDermott's running back committee. That's how he does it. That's how it's always been. The only time it wasn't was when Shady was here the first year. Or wait, did we do one the year Shady was here? Did we have a little bit of a committee, even though?
I don't think so. I don't even. I mean, maybe Mike Gillisley was in there, but he fumbled a lot. I don't know. There was a bunch. Dude, there's so many guys on that team that I couldn't even tell you the backup to Shady when he was here. I know Gillisley was in there, but Yeldon was with the Bills last year. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we
can look it up.
either way, the offense did great. I mean, I'm not going to complain if the offense puts up 31 points every week. I mean, we should win. If we put up 31 points every week, we should win every single week. Mike, there it is. We got the comment from Mike
Yes.
Tolbert right there. Shout out Brandon. Big brain move right there by Brandon. Mike Tolbert, man, that was something. That was something. And remember, speaking of Mike Tolbert, just reminded me of another old Bills player. Remember Boobie Dixon?
Yeah, he went off against the Jets in Detroit the one year.
What I mean, let us know what you guys
When we
think
had
about.
November, we played in Detroit, and he had like 160 yards or some craziness.
Yeah, let us know what you guys thought about the run game, thought about Moss, Singletary, and all that. Let us know right there in the comments. But yeah, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm not, at the time, I may have been mad, but like also could have been because I was watching a Bills game. So you do what you do during Bills games. You drink a little bit. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to move on to the Tennessee game? A little preview for that.
Yeah. So Tennessee coming off of a loss to Brian Daboll and the New York Giants on a missed field goal. Good for them. That was great. Honestly, that was great seeing it. Saquon's back. Maybe Daboll's sparking something there. Good for them. But the Titans coming off a week 1 loss, off a missed field goal, they didn't, to me, impress me that much at all against the Giants. So now we go into Monday night. They're coming here. It's a 7:15 game, which, again, don't know why the NFL is having 2 games go on at once. But Monday night here, what do you think? First of all, what do you think of Tennessee last week, and what do you expect from them coming into this week? What do you think they're going to try to really hammer us on this week?
Yeah, I think the thing that I watched that Tennessee Giants or New York Giants game, and the thing about it was 3rd and 1. It was like 5 minutes left. They're up 7, and
I think I know exactly the play you're talking
they
about.
did like a tight end around and like lost like 4 yards, something like that. And just like, I understand the thought process because you're like, well, they really think we're going to get the ball to Derrick Henry here. So like try and switch it up, catch him off guard. You can, you could break one, honestly, if you execute the right way or whatever. But that play really stuck in my head about, like, can they finish games or, you couldn't finish a game against a quarterback that I know he had a good passer rating. And I understand that, but he really didn't play that well. Daniel Jones. I think he is what he is. I think he's even a worse Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe with like maybe a little quicker, like a little faster than Jimmy G. But I mean that offensive line for the Giants got absolutely destroyed. Credit to Daboll for going for 2. I mean that's why that's what I love to see because like that's what something the Bills would do. So to like see that from another team that has struggled for so many years and like get that win against an AFC opponent that like will help us in terms of like seeding and stuff like that. That was awesome to see. But yeah, Tennessee, I don't know. They are what they are, man. Like if they get the ball and they can run the clock out and they can get Derrick Henry moving, especially with Ed out, probably most likely. And who knows about Settle's status, but we're gonna bring up guys like Brewer and Bryant. I mean, I don't know what to expect from them. Those are 2 guys that have practiced, they're on the practice squad. So
And Emili just got signed. See that? Emili yesterday got signed to the practice squad. Yes, sir. Prince Emili.
So yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to do what they do. They're going to do play action. We're going to have to pressure Tannehill because if he gets in a nice pocket, he's got Traylon Burks, he's got Phillips, this little slot receiver. He was really good. Reminded me of Beasley. And then they have Robert Woods, who he's a vet. He knows what he's doing. He's coming back to Buffalo. I don't know if he's ever played against Buffalo in Buffalo ever since he's left. Maybe.
I don't think he has.
Maybe
in Buffalo. I don't believe he has.
I think we played him, but I don't. Maybe actually,
I don't think
might have been on the Rams 2 years ago, or no, I don't know if he was there yet though.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been here.
So yeah, it's his return game. He's gonna have a little mojo going. I think we're 0-2 against the Titans. I think the Titans are gonna come in pissed off. They blew a game at home against a team that was definitely not supposed to win that game, and I think the Bills have a little bad taste in their mouths from last year when Allen slipped on the 4th and 1. They remember that. So it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for it. But, yeah, it's important to get Derrick Henry off the field and limit Tannehill in the play action.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting them to, again, run it right down our throats. Try to do that, especially now that we're banged up on the D-line. Though I am a little concerned because Dane Jackson didn't practice today. I think it was his knee, and I don't believe I saw it like a status on if he's going to play Monday. I know they still got some time to figure that out. But if let's say Dane's not playing, right? Who are you concerned then that Ryan Tannehill could beat us in the air even if Dane Jackson's out? Because if Dane Jackson's there, we already beat Matt Stafford and the Rams. I feel like we're good. But if we have two rookies starting on the outsides, does now that put a little more concern on the defensive side of the ball for you?
I think it puts more pressure on the defensive line. I mean, I think it's funny because the two rookies, like if we do what we did against LA and whatever, Stafford gets absolutely, I'm going to turn my brightness up real quick so you can see me. But no, if Stafford can, if we can get to the quarterback like we did with Stafford, I mean, I think with Dane Jackson being out, there's way more pressure on the defensive line to get to the quarterback, make him uncomfortable, and get Tannehill, double guessing and not getting the ball out quick enough where we can take over the game and have a strip sack or cause a batted ball, Boogie Basham bats one up to himself again and picks it off. So something like that. Just defensive line has to play well. I'm not sure about Dane Jack. I know he didn't practice today. I don't know. It was undisclosed. I don't know if it's like.
I did see knee, but I didn't see anything besides they just said it was his knee. That was it. They just
okay. Yeah. So
knee and they didn't get.
I mean, dude, Benford stepped up last week, played a really good game, really good game. Like A-Rob did absolutely nothing, and he got the start. I know, but yeah, D-line, more pressure on the D-line if Dane Jackson's out, but I'm not too worried. They're not really a passing offense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, defensively, I think we'll it's really just going to come down to if we can stop Derrick Henry, right? Yeah. And the other thing is we're a bend don't break defense. You saw it a little bit last week with Hilliard out of the backfield. Does that concern you at all? Passes out of the backfield, us being able to cover that because that involves one, not missing tackles, which I think we did a really good job last week tackling. But again, it's not something that in the McDermott era that we've been excelling at for multiple games in a row. On top of being a bend don't break defense, we're going to allow those underneath passes. So does that cause any kind of concern for you on the defensive side? And who in that aspect of the game is going to have to come up big with those type of stops? Is it the corners? Is it Poyer and Hyde? Is it Milano and Edmonds? Out of those three groups, the corners, safeties, and linebackers, in that aspect of the game, who do you think has to come up the biggest?
Well, obviously, again, it depends. It depends what we're playing. We could be playing a 4-3. You could see a little Tyrell Dodson in there. He could have a couple of opportunities to guard that running back. And then obviously, if we play nickel, I mean, who knows? Who knows who we're gonna? Is it Milano? I think overall it's gonna be the linebacking core, but I think we're gonna see different looks. I don't think we're gonna play straight nickel, just because of the type of offense that we're going against. But the last year we were in nickel the whole game, and Derrick Henry had a game. So I don't know really if they are going to take something from that and kind of change it, or if McDermott's going to stick to his guns and just play nickel the whole game. But it's going to fall on the linebackers. Hilliard did play really well. He was a hot fantasy, dude, if Henry goes down, man, I want it. He was a hot pickup in fantasy this week. So, yeah, I think it's going to come down to the linebackers ultimately to stop that pass catcher out of the backfield, and hopefully they can get it done.
Yeah. All right, let's switch over to the offense side of the ball now. Talked a lot about the defense.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess that you don't really have too much concern on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to against this Tennessee defense. But okay, so we've struggled against Tennessee for some reason. Like you said, we've lost the last two games against them, and then I believe even 3 years ago when we played them, it was that Duke Williams game where he ended up getting the game-winning touchdown late, and it was 17-14. So it was another close game. So for some reason, our offense kind of struggles against Vrabel and that defense. Do you think – obviously Allen's going to do what he's got to do. Who do you think has to then step up on the defensive side because they're going to be paying a lot of attention to Diggs. Davis might be single covered a lot. I mean, he probably will be single covered a lot of the game. Knox might be that type of guy that's got to get open. Is Singletary? Is it, Moss again? Is it just converting on, like, what's the key to the offense getting going and staying going the whole game to you?
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, they have Jeffrey Simmons, who played a really good game against the Giants, who I think they're going to have to worry about. But, we just really, we handled Aaron Donald quite well. I mean, I know we had 1 sack, but it was like a 2-yard sack, so it wasn't like that big of a deal. But I would just say, like, limiting turnovers, dude. Like, we were in a groove, and, dude, we had, what do we have, 4 turnovers that game? We had 4 turnovers.
Allen had 2 picks. Moss had a fumble, and Cook had a fumble.
Yeah, so we had, I mean, dude, if we don't turn that ball over 4 times last week, we could have put up 40 plus.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if we just keep, the rhythm going, we don't turn the ball over, Allen gets rid of the ball quickly, doesn't take unnecessary contact when he has to. We run the ball efficiently. We don't have to run like a lot, but if it's efficient, I'll take it. Whoever they throw back there. I could see like a situation where James Cook's inactive and they kind of like bring in Shakir and kind of like see what he can do and like the slot and stuff, maybe get a couple snaps on offense just to get him, because he had such a good camp, dude. Like, I really hope that he can kind of start to work his way in here somewhat soon. So yeah, just the offense doing what they do, man. Throwing the ball, Josh Allen being Josh Allen, Dorsey calling another great game. Like Dick said, dude, it's going to be so crazy in that stadium coming off that victory. So like just handling that, like that pressure. And the last time they were in that stadium was the New England game where they had the perfect offensive game, 100% on 3rd down. So I'm looking forward to it. Not really concerned. Byard's a great player for Tennessee as a safety. So they got a couple of playmakers on that side of the ball. But what is your thought on the offense? And do you think they're primed for another 30 point plus game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have another chance not to punt again. That's all I know, is because whenever you have Josh Allen, there's a chance. But I think it's really going to come down to the interior of our offensive line. Like you said, Jeffrey Simmons, he's a monster. He's another one of those guys that can get in the backfield, that can make plays. So if Allen can get the ball out fast, that'll already take pressure off the offensive line. But if he can't get it out within those 2-3 seconds, that it's going to be more Saffold. They are all into the interior of that offensive line's got to really come together. And they looked good last week. I mean, you're playing Aaron Donald, so you did a great job, especially against a guy like Aaron Donald. But it just seems like our offensive line it's a week-by-week thing. At least last year, I feel like it was kind of like a week-by-week. We didn't know what we were going to get. This year, I still am kind of the same way until they string those games together. What type of offensive line are we going to get? Are we going to get one where Allen's running for his life all day? Or are we going to get one where, Allen can get it out, have time, Singletary, open up the lanes for Singletary, open them up for Moss? I think it's going to come down to that. And that is also in turn going to affect the 3rd down conversions, because that was one thing that every game, again, we didn't punt the last game. So our 4 turnovers were essentially punts. They were essentially our punts. So yeah, it's going to come down to 3rd down conversions and that offense, in interior of the offensive line, really putting in the work. Spencer Brown even the outside, Spencer Brown on the tackle and Dawkins at tackle, they're going to have to show up and then give Allen time, open up the running lanes. And I think they'll be fine. I don't know if we'll get another 30-point game. I would love it, but I would put money at least we put up 20 on them, at minimum. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really too much more to talk about when it comes to the game itself coming up, but you do have, I know you want to talk about one more thing.
So I want to just get into, speaking of tonight, there's obviously a huge game for the Chiefs and the Chargers. Chargers are 2-0. Well, Herbert's 2-0 in his career at Arrowhead. It's a game where, is KC really that good, or was Arizona just that bad? I watched that. I have Red Zone, so I'm watching almost not every play, but you watch a lot of the plays throughout a game. And Arizona just like so defeated and so just, JJ Watt's hurt and their quarterback just got signed, but they have no rundown more. D-Hop suspended 6 games. You got, Marquise Brown, who just got there, so he's not really familiar with the offense. He's been in a Lamar Jackson offense. It's probably, the complete opposite of what Arizona is. So I just want to talk about, give me your three, and we can kind of discuss. But I want you to go in order, top three threats to the Bills in the AFC. And then I'll give you mine, and then we can just kind of discuss it. So if you want to start.
Yeah. I mean, I think I in no particular, I'm not going to put this in order because I don't know a specific order.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going in order, but you don't have to. I'll go in order, though.
If I had to put it in order, I think number one, I'd put still Kansas City. It's going until we beat Kansas City in the playoffs. They're going to be the ghost that follows us throughout our entire time, because that's the number one thing is Allen can't win against the Chiefs when it matters. If we beat them in the regular season, at this point, I don't care. I do, like, if we beat them, yeah, that's great, awesome, love it. But I don't care that much because they're still the team that we got to beat. They're the team that we're going to be compared to with Mahomes. It's going to be Mahomes versus Allen. Who's the guy that, who's better? But Bills fans are going to say Allen, and I think the media is going to continue to say Mahomes until Allen can beat him in the playoffs. That's really about it. So number one, I'm going to go to the Chiefs. Number two, I'm going to go to the Baltimore Ravens. I know they have some weird stuff going on over there with Lamar and his contract, and then I know even I'm blanking on the corner that just got hurt again for them. Not Lattimore's in New Orleans. Not
Peters, Marcus Peters, no.
Peters, yes, Peters again. Just got injured in week 1. I know he tore his ACL, I believe, last year. So we don't know the extent of that yet, but it's just something about the Ravens that constantly puts that in the back of my head. It's like they got a Super Bowl winning coach. They have an MVP quarterback. They've been able to show that they can put points up. Their defenses have been known to be able to do great things, and they still got a rookie back there in Kyle Hamilton that they just brought in on that defensive side. So I think the Ravens are the second team that we have to watch out for, especially because they have Pittsburgh in their divisions, who should not be a threat to them. Cleveland, at least this year, should not be a threat to them with Watson out the first half of the season, or over the first half of the season. And then the Bengals, I'm not sold. I have not been sold on them. They made a Super Bowl. I don't care. I'm not sold on them. So I think they can easily win that AFC North, and the Ravens can make a run, especially because they have an MVP on their team.
They're getting Ronnie Stanley back as well.
They're
left tackle. So.
Exactly, and they have a Super Bowl winning coach. So that's number 2 for me. Number 3, I gotta go the Chargers, man. It's tough not to pick them. They got Herbert, who, he's probably the most similar to Allen in the league. The way he plays, he can sling it, he can run a little. I would probably say Allen's a better runner, and Herbert, but Herbert's also he's what, a year behind? 2 years behind, right, with Allen.
Burrow and Herbert in their third year.
Yeah, so 2 years behind Allen. So he's going to continue to get better. The only thing is that I think that holds the Chargers back, honestly, is their head coach, Brandon Staley. I'm not a fan of him, if I'm being honest. I've heard Chargers fans also say they're not a fan of him. I mean, you see a lot of questionable calls sometimes by him. And especially last week, they should have beat the Raiders by a lot more than they did, in my opinion. But they got Khalil Mack, who had 3 sacks. J.C. Jackson's back tonight for his first game for the Chargers. So I think those are the 3 teams for me that are the biggest threats to the Bills.
All right, I'm gonna go Chiefs 1. Obviously, I think I just watched them play, dude, and they're gonna. I'm not saying that. I'm not even gonna say that this is not an overreaction. I do not care. That offense will be better without Tyreek Hill. I am totally convinced. I think Tyreek Hill's a great player, but I watched that Miami game was on at 1, and they just force-fed Tyreek and just kept feeding Tyreek. And it's like, dude, you have Jalen Waddle, you have other playmakers on that team where you don't like. There's a reason Tyreek Hill left Kansas City and went to Miami, because he knew in Miami he would be the focal point. He'd be like, oh my God, this guy's so good. He's, that's what Tyreek Hill's about, man. He's about himself. He's about his brand. He's about whatever. He just wants to accumulate stats. So I just think, you know, the Chiefs are definitely my number one team. You know, we've never beaten them in a game that's mattered, and they haven't looked like they lost a step, dude. Pat Mahomes, dude, like it's just hit. He is so good outside the pocket, and he just can throw such a great ball. Kelsey's the same old Kelsey. They added Juju. They Valdez Scantling looks good. Hardman's quick. They got Edwards-Helaire. You know, there's just so many weapons on that team. So Chiefs are going to be my number one team, biggest threat to the Bills. My number two is going to be the Chargers. I just think if they can stay healthy, now, if they can stay healthy, that's a big if because I think Keenan Allen has a lot of injury problems throughout the season. I think Eckler could, go down. Mike Williams is always, all their skill position players always somehow have this like nagging injury or something going on. But if they can stay healthy, Justin Herbert's phenomenal. I think Gerald Everett's an upgraded tight end over Jared Cook. I think you'll see that eventually happen throughout the season where you see Gerald Everett really stand out. I think Josh Palmer is really a good wide receiver 3. You'll see him tonight probably a lot because Keenan Allen's out. And, that defense, dude, like Khalil Mack, 3 sacks in his return to the AFC West. Stay in the AFC West, 3 sacks against his former team. And J.C. Jackson, I don't know if he's active tonight. I think he is. I didn't see him on the inactive report. Another guy in the cornerback position that's just locked down. So I got Chargers number 2. And then I've gone back and forth with like my number 3 because I don't know. It's hard for me to choose between these two, and I'm like indecisive about it. But I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'll tell you why. So like I really think like, don't get me wrong, the Ravens have a good team. But the Bengals are 0-1. Everyone's overreacting. Like, dude, the O-line hasn't been fixed. They picked up a lot of guys over the offseason to like help fix it. Your quarterback threw 4 picks. I will not guarantee it, but it's likely that won't happen again the rest of the year. I think besides those 4 picks, now I know it's still not a bad game, but I think Burrow played well. I think Jamar Chase looked really good. I think Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are the top 2 wide receivers in football, and like it's not even close. So I think Jamar Chase is really good. I think T. Higgins got banged up, and they lost the game on an extra point that got blocked, and they missed another field goal because their long snapper got hurt, so they had long snapping issues. There was a bunch of issues where it's like, how is it even possible that this team is like an extra point away from winning this football game? And I just think, they did it last year. They beat the Titans on the road. They beat the Chiefs on the road. And they're just – Joe Burrow's a good quarterback. Like he is not going to like, wow you with his athleticism or, but he's going to, at the end of the game, you're going to look across the field and be like, Joe Burrow's still in this game. He's getting the ball. Let's see what he can do because Joe Burrow's just a winner, and he always has been. Their skill positions are great. Joe Mixon's a beast. Their defense, I know I'm not too big on them, but they, Trubisky didn't look too good. The only reason they even remotely got, scored any points is because the defense was putting them in great positions to score with the turnovers. So I'll go Bengals 3, and then I'll round it out. If you want to do 2 more, I'm not really explain it, but I'll go Ravens 4, Dolphins 5 if you want to.
Yeah, I would go Bengals 4 because like the Bengals, yes, I think they're a team that, unlike the Ravens, I think the Ravens are a better team overall. The Bengals could keep up with us. They would easily be able to get if it's a dog, like one of those high scoring, slinging it. Yes, the Bengals can keep up with us and win a game like that. Mm-hmm. 5. I just have a hard time believing the Dolphins can even come close to us. I really do because as good as they beat the Pats, I get it, but Tua didn't look good. That he didn't. He really, in my opinion, he did not look good. He struggles again to make it. It's not even his accuracy. It's not it's just making the right decision. There's so many times where he could take 5 yards, but no, he's going to throw it into the dirt because he's going to try to make a crazy play, but he doesn't even make it to wherever the receiver. Like for me, it's just I don't see Tua Tagovailoa if he's not going to outscore Josh Allen. It's just, to me, that's what it comes down to. Is Tua going to outscore Josh Allen? I don't believe he can. So for my 5th team, I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders. I've been high on the Raiders. I liked them last year. You know, they did knock the Chargers out last year, but now I think obviously the Chargers got a lot better. And Herbert's now going into another year where he's just going to get better. But I mean, the Raiders, they have the offense that can compete with our defense. I mean, now again, their offensive line is one of the worst in the NFL, so that might be a problem for them. But they got Devonta Adams, they got Darren Waller, they got Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs in the backfield. For blanking on who they also have, who else they have in the backfield, but he made I'm blanking on his name, but he made some plays.
I mean, Drake, no, he's not there anymore.
No, he did have dreads.
That game wasn't. I don't know.
Either way, the guy made plays. Who I'm blanking on his name, but he made plays for them. So I think that they can do that. They can keep up with us offensively. Defensively, there's obviously some question marks, but they have a pass rush. They have a great pass rush, and I have no question in my mind Max Crosby can run down Josh Allen. I'm as good as Allen is. Max Crosby's a fast defensive end edge rusher. So I think they have the pass rush. Their linebackers, I know, are a little shaky. Their corners, I'm blanking on their corners right now. Also, oh my gosh! But I mean, I think out of all the teams left, they are a team that could potentially, maybe the Colts, just because you saw what Jonathan Taylor did to us last year. Maybe again he can do that to us if we met up in the playoffs. Maybe he does put up 200 yards on us. So look, I mean, at the end of the day, do I really think there's a lot of major threats to the Bills? Because at the end of the day, I still don't see us losing to Miami. I don't see us losing to the Raiders. I don't see us losing to the Colts. I just don't see it. But again, it could happen. It's the NFL. I think the only major threats are the first three that I said: Ravens, Chargers, and Chiefs.
All right. Want to get right into predictions here, or what?
Yeah. What do you got as your prediction for?
Right,
we can do a prediction for tonight and for Monday night. Bills game and tonight's game.
Sounds good. All right, I'm gonna go Chiefs 31, Chargers 27. I just made that up in my head. I didn't really make a pick before. I think the Chiefs are gonna, win the game. It's gonna be a great game. I think both offenses are just marvelous. It's amazing football to watch. It's gonna be probably one of the best Thursday night games of the year. And then for the Bills game, I will go 27-13 Buffalo. It could be a one touchdown game in the fourth quarter, but ultimately Josh Allen leads them to victory. Bills Mafia goes crazy, 2-0. And, another perfect night. Now, will the game go as perfect as last week? I'm not sure. I mean, that's going to be hard to top because just going against a team that lost to the Giants, I think us fans are kind of expecting a lot. So there's going to be probably some criticisms coming out of the game. I think we'll have a little bit to talk about on the negative end after this game, just because, it's football. There's people make mistakes. But I have the Bills winning by 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen staying in the MVP hunt. And, the hype, the media, just getting them even more hyped up, saying, oh, this team, they're so good. Oh, my God. He'll probably win angry runs again, stiff arm a couple guys. And so what do you got?
I got a little different of prediction. I think tonight I'm going to go Chargers in a high-scoring game. High. I'm thinking like 45-38, bro. Like, I think it could be one of those games that you look back at the end of the year and be like, wow, like that was a game, like one of the best games of the year, man. So I think both those offenses, we know what they can do. Chiefs defense, I'm not really that. I just don't love them that much. Their defense, the Chargers defense, they're going to do but they're still playing Patrick Mahomes. So Mahomes is going to try to keep him in it. I do think the Chargers come out on top because I think that they're going to be, they're going to be looking for that edge that they're going to be, we're back. We're different this year. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to win this division. So I think they could win tonight. I think 45-38, a little high scoring game. The Bills game, I think we'll struggle against Henry a little early on. So I think we could see them score about, by the end of the game, 20-ish. I think I'm going to go 20 for the Titans. I'm going to go like 34 for us. I think we do get in the 30s again. That defense for the Titans, how are they going to stop us? Unless Jeffrey Simmons has like the game of his life, how are they stopping us? So I'm going to go 34-20. for my prediction to this week.
All righty, sounds good. Well, this is the Shoop and Aye-Aye-Ajay show. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to like this video. It'll be up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts hopefully by tomorrow. And
Yeah.
last thought, Ben. Last thought.
Yeah, we'll be on again next week, Thursday probably. Could be on another day. Who knows? Maybe we'll go live Monday. Probably not. I don't. A home game probably not. So Thursday probably or Monday probably won't be. Thursday next week, maybe another day. Listen to us on Twitter. We'll be posting everything there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. And as always, go Bills.
Later.